Hi everyone, this is Mary Blue Angel, and today I am continuing with Loving Country. Last time we left off after finishing one ending of what I'm labeling as Émile's route. I'm not sure exactly if that's how the game devs think of this, but there's more to look at, and so we're making a different choice, which you'll see in a second. But yeah, this has been extremely entertaining, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts about maybe, which route they prefer so far, or which choices slash stories, the variations you've seen so far, if you get what I mean. If not, just, let me know. But anyways, let's just get into it. It's so fun. So instead of it's too risky, hang back because we're drunk, we're gonna don't lose Denham. We have to call out, and I guess we're gonna see what happens. This is so interesting. Oh, that was so heartbreaking. I want them to be together, or they're just always going to be like not together. Is that always the case? Who knows? Okay, so don't lose Denham. You have to call out.
We can't let this chance get away. There's no time to consult with Émile. I must take action. Mr. Denham! Denham's nurse stops pushing the wheelchair. The pair turn to look at us, me waving towards them enthusiastically and Émile grappling at my waist. I can't see from here, Helga. Turn me round. He bats at her irritably with his handkerchief until he maneuvers the chair to face me. Denham looks me up and down. You'd think he'd be happier to see his rescue. It takes me a moment to remember through my drunken fog that Denham has never met us. Who knows what the Jizzium Bureau was able to say to him before we arrived? I was so scared of losing Denham that I forgot that we had no plan in place for, approaching him. I know I should say something. I swivel my head in Émile's direction, who seems equally at a loss. Denham gives a small cough, bringing my attention back to him. He's waiting, expectantly. Gee, you look swell. I didn't think this through. You're in a chair. It was the first thought to spring to mind. Somehow the words bypassed my filter and tumbled from my mouth. I know better than to say something so impolite. But honestly, how the heck are we going to get this man across the border when he's only got wheels? Yes, doctor's orders. I'm not to exert myself unnecessarily. My stems work fine, but I do get a bit winded these days. Legs. Stems? Oh, I see. I knew you were sick, but I didn't realize you were, sick. Sensing how far the train has gone off the rails, Émile interjects. I told you he may not recognize you. How long has it been since you've seen each other? That's right. Denham doesn't know who we are. In case anyone is watching, we need to provide a reasonable explanation as to why that is. 10 years. 5 to 10 years. Yes, she's so silly sometimes, this wife of mine. Émile smiles at Denham and the nurse as if sharing a private joke before looking back at me affectionately. He is stalling for time, giving me a chance to come up with a story about who I am and how I know Mr. Denham. Right. The last time you saw me, I was only this tall. I hold up my hand to indicate shortness. It's me, Lillian. DB's daughter. Is that enough to tell Denham that we are here to help? I hope that he picks up on the abbreviation of Jizzium Bureau. Yes, we were traveling through the area, and Lillian's father, DB, suggested that we stop in Lorac to check on you. At least Émile has caught on. Lillian. It has been a while. Good. He seems to be playing along now, too. Hopefully this nurse thinks DB is the name of an old friend or something. Oh, and this is my husband, Edward Twain. Émile puts his hand out to Denham, who takes it, albeit cautiously. Right. We were so sad you couldn't make. couldn't make the wedding. I laugh nervously, trying to distract from the fact I'm stumbling over my words. Émile laughs along with me, a bit too hard. Oh my gosh. The nurse gives an impatient cough, but Denham only stares at us. Also, since I'm trying to give Herbert like this kind of whatever accent, it's bleeding into what I'm doing for this in general for Lillian and stuff. So apologies, but it's kind of funny. Also, I'm just trying to pretend that I'm drinking. I have been drinking, but I haven't. I don't mean to be indelicate, but have you two been drinking? Well, yes. Sorry, isn't that obvious? I'm afraid so. We had schnapps. Schnapps. I giggle a little, but stop abruptly when I catch Denham's glower. I see. I must say I disapprove. Your father would be disappointed, Lillian. I will have to tell them about it the next time I write. Ooh. Does he mean to include this in a report to the DB? Girl, I'm just trying to make a different decision, okay? First of all, last time we didn't do this. I guess you wouldn't know that, Herbert. No. It's okay. We're fine. I wriggle out of Émile's arms so that I can crouch down to talk to Denham. I take his clammy hand in mine. We thought you were staying at the Loen, so we had to check around. We didn't know you'd actually be here. I'm glad you found me, but isn't it rather late for a social call? Perhaps we should continue this reunion once the pair of you had had the opportunity to dry out. The nurse interjects in heavily accented English. Yeah, Herr Denham needs rest. You two go now. No one asked you, Helga. Maybe, Mr. Denham. And Helga are right. But, we are pretty drunk and... Oh no. Émile's eyes go wide and he starts to waver on his feet. I stand to hold him steady. Denham's face is a mixture of concern and aversion. Are you all right there, son? I will be sick very soon, I think. Helga, I need a toilet, quick. Helga's chins wiggle as she looks back and forth between Denham and Émile, unsure who to attend to. If there's no toilet, this plant here will do. He begins to make his way clumsily to the potted plant behind us. Oh, for Christ's sake, Helga, go show him to a washroom. A bear, Denham. Where the heck am I going to run off to, Timbuktu? He gestures impatiently to the wheelchair he's seated in. With a grumble, the nurse grabs Émile, who's attempting to put his head in the plant pot, and starts ushering him out of the lobby. As they leave, Émile looks over his shoulder at me and winks. Wink, wink. I was like, girl, you are not sick, but here we are. I mouth back, what? But Émile is gone before I can signal my confusion. Once they are out of sight, Denham yanks me back down to his level. All politeness has gone out of his eyes, replaced with a deep scrutiny. What in thunderation are you trying to pull? Are you trying to blow your cover? Expressing surprise. What do you mean? We're here to help you. Oh, that wasn't quite obvious enough. Why don't you yell about it so the spooks that are watching my every move can hear it too? I'm sorry. You can stuff your sorries in a sack, missy. Lord, I can't believe it. You never get zozzled on a job. Never. Very drunk. It wasn't on purpose. There were these German soldiers, and it was the little one's birthday, and... Can it? If he'd only hear me out, he'd understand. We never meant to get drunk, it just happened. Denham buries his face in his hand in pure exasperation. Amateurs. The DB's gotta be out of their minds sending the likes of you and Frenchie there. I'm done for. Amateurs? That stings. I can't deny things have been a struggle at times, but we're doing our best. It's not all bad. Now we know where you are. We'll come back in the morning. We'll sort it out, you'll see. You'd better. He waves an angry finger in my face, scolding me in a hushed whisper. This is my last, and mean my last, chance to get out of the country. Believe you me. The Germans are looking for any reason to throw me in the Husko. I've never heard that as American. That's so crazy. I've got money, but it only goes so far. Mr. Denham, Room 31. Got it? Our exchange is cut off by the reappearance of Helga and Émile, the latter of whom returns collarless and holding his head in his hands. Denham looks like he has more to say, but all he can do is frown and look away from me. Helga resumes her post behind Denham, looking thoroughly irritated. We go now, Herr Denham. It is late.
All right, all right. Lillian. He levels me with a serious look that he knows Helga can't see. I try my best not to react. What do you say we meet for some breakfast? You'll need a hearty meal in the morning after tonight's revelries. I'll see you then. Pleasure meeting you, Mr. Twain. And with that, Helga wheels him away, leaving the two of us to the relative quiet of the hotel lobby. I look to Émile, who is, to my surprise, smiling. Phew, that was a close one. Are you all right? Je vais bien. I was not sick, but I made sure to make some very convincing sounds for her. Oh, good. I'm barely listening. All I can think about is Denham and the pickle we put him in. Émile seems to pick up on my lack of attention. He pokes my cheek. Allo? Huh? Did Denham tell you anything? Oh, he's in room 31. We'll just find him there tomorrow, like he said. I told Denham we'd sort him out. It will be okay, won't it? I shouldn't have run into the situation so unprepared. I shouldn't have thrown caution to the wind. Lost in recriminating thoughts, I wander out of the lobby and back onto the street. Émile trots behind me. So, what now? I don't know. There's nothing else to do until tomorrow. Maybe we just keep having fun then. Another drink. I don't know how badly I've muddled things. I can't think straight at all. But Denham's reaction was enough to tell me that I'd messed up. The last thing I want to do is carouse. Seeing my expression, Émile trails off. Or maybe we just head back to the hotel. Yeah. I exhale and run my fingers through my hair. Where's my hat? God, I'm drunk. Émile. This went badly, didn't it? I shouldn't have tried to talk to Mr. Denham. It'll be okay. I don't know. I continue to trudge down the street. Lillian, wait. Wait. He steps in front of me, blocking my path. I stop and look up at him. His dark hairs come loose from his pomade hole, swing in front of his eyes. Aww, a hug. Before I can ask what he wants, he gathers me in a hug. Oh, this is a cute little illustration. I stiffen, surprised, but he continues to hold me. His body is warm. So nice and warm, I soon find myself melting into him as easily as curling into bed. It's safe here. One by one, the anxious thoughts plaguing me begin to dissolve. But to my dismay, he begins to separate from me. I look up at him once more, an objection ready, only to find out he's not actually pulling away. This is even better than before. Okay, cool. Okay. In a swift and sudden move, he tilts his head and meets me with his lips. My eyelids snap open as if I'll see something that will explain what is happening. This isn't... Is it? Ooh, in the moonlight and all. How cute. I let out a muffled protest as I press Émile away from me. He seems almost as surprised as me, and for a moment we just stare at one another. I thought
You don't want this.
I do.
But you pushed me away.
I know.
I slap my hand over my eyes in frustration when I hear how confusing I sound. Émile looks around, perplexed, like the answer he's looking for is in the air somewhere. All night, you've been poking me with your little questions, trying to figure out if I'm available. Oh yeah, that is what was happening before finding Herbert Denham. Mm-hmm. It seems like you wanted me. Yes. Me too, Lillian. Okay, so. But you don't like me. What the hell are you talking about? You told me you didn't want my mouth on you at the station. I lied. I was trying to be mean. I've wanted your mouth on me since we met at the bar last night. I'm sorry. I thought I was being obvious, but maybe I wasn't. I nearly rocked backwards at his words. I can't believe them. Have I really been that blind? Émile. He cradles my face in his hands, stroking my cheeks with his thumbs. Lillian, can I kiss you or what? Yes, please. Oh my god, look at you two, kissing under the moonlight. This is even better than earlier. Okay. Without another word, Émile pulls me into him. His tongue skates across my bottom lip, making my heart wobble. In response, I open up more for him. He accepts my invitation wholeheartedly, and soon we are kissing like we are ravenously hungry. We claw at each other, his fingers through my hair and mine at his neck. My leg crooks around him as he presses his body harder into me. I can't read that. Okay. When we come up for air, our warm breaths float out of us into the night with all our panting. He cracks a smile. This is fun. Yeah, really fun. I glance around us. Though the foot traffic at this time of night is sparse, we are very much still in the middle of a street. He tucks a stray hair behind my ear. Everything okay? Instead of answering him, I grab him by the hand and lead him to an alley just off the road. He follows wordlessly, curiously. Ooh, not the alleyway. The alley is dark, with slick gray cobblestones that catch the moonlight. I fall against the wall, pulling Émile into me. He laughs and plants his hand by my head. I can't read hand and head the same. Oh my god, I keep doing that. You can't escape now. Are you sure you're okay with that? What if you're the one who's trapped? He grins like a cat before pressing his lips to meet mine once more. Yes, kissing in the alleyway. We love this. We love this, guys. Like before, our kiss is rough and unbidden. My stomach flutters with excitement each time I feel his tongue on mine. His mouth travels to my neck and I let out a moan. His teeth nip at my skin there, no doubt leaving a mark. His mark. I guide his hand up my side, leading it to my breast, which he kneads greedily. As his thumb teases me, it sends a shiver up my spine, and my hips jerk upwards. Okay, y'all. Again, I don't think YouTube is gonna... Y'all, it's just description. We're fine. Oh my god, I love this for YouTube, though. Anyways, I love the slight variations that I'm seeing. I love that we just get, like, you know, the scene only changed with, like, Denham once, and then, like, you know, the rest is the same. Because this is definitely different. Émile takes this as a sign to move forward. His other hand starts gathering up my skirt in search of entry. I start hitching up the fabric myself to speed along the process. I feel my pulse thrum through my whole being in anticipation of his touch. Oh my god. Amateurs. My eyes fly open. Was that Denham? In my head just now? Émile feels me freeze. What's wrong? I shoo away the intrusive thought. It's nothing, sorry. Keep going. I grab Émile's tie and pull him back to me, and he renews his endeavor. The heat of his fingers so close makes me bite my lip. You can shove your sorries in a sack, missy. The scolding voice rings in my mind clear as day. I hurriedly push Émile away from me. He pants as he stares at me, dumbfounded. What is this? I can't stop thinking about Mr. Denham. His face. Okay. While we were out pawing at each other, Mr. Denham is trapped in that hotel. We have no plan to rescue him. And you are worried about that now? I mean, right now? Émile. He sighs. No, you're right. What do you want to do about it? We should go back, and then we'll leave. There aren't any more trains tonight. We can't go to the station until morning. So, where do we go? We could go back to the Lillian. Before I let this thought out, I quickly realized that the staff would recognize Denham right away. We can't take him there either. I look at Émile and chewing on my lip. We don't have anywhere to take him. No matter how many times I turn the problem over in my mind, I can't find a solution. We're both tired and tipsy. It's no wonder, but I'm still frustrated. Some things are best left for the morning, So? He walks back to me, resting his hands on my hips. His head tilts, but he stops short of actually kissing me again. You aren't going to be able to focus on this, are you? I shake my head. He pushes his hair back and gives a sigh. It's okay. Let's go back to the hotel. We trudge back to the Lillian in an awkward silence. He insists that it's fine, though I can tell he's a bit put out. We would quietly retire, careful to avoid contact as we crawl under the covers together. My thoughts continue racing for a while before I slip into a fitful sleep. Okay, interesting. I like how this is different. I'm jostled awake by a strong pair of hands. Shit! Wake up! The springs of the mattress squeak as he rises from the bed. Putain de merde, bordel de merde. I groan as I prop myself up on my elbows. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust to the dimness of the room. Émile is pacing back and forth. What is going on? My mouth is like sandpaper. My voice comes out as a rasp. Even still, its volume is too much for my pounding head. We're fucking screwed. Émile walks over to the washroom and I hear the water run. Get up. Drink this. Émile returns with a glass of water. I force myself to sit up and take it. I feel like death. You and me both. But we need to talk about last night. What about last night? My brain is still cloudy with sleep. We were kissing last night. Is that what he's referring to? If that's the case, I'm definitely not ready to talk about that. Part of me regrets not seeing it through, but I was too caught up in my guilt over Denham to be able to enjoy it. I choke on my water. Oh no, Denham. Oh no. For crying out loud, Lillian. Was it as bad as I remember? Yes. I set the glass down on the nightstand and hide my face in my hands. Why did we do that? Maybe it would all be fine. Émile's voice is anxious and strained. He looks at me for some reassurance, but I can't offer any. What should we do? Head over to the Walled Cotter? Yes, we should get Denham and leave. Émile starts rushing around the room, hurriedly grabbing things and piling them by his valise. Allez, pack your things. I force myself to the floor to stand, my muscles protesting every movement. Trudging over to the window, I draw back the curtain. He hisses at the sudden brightness filling the room, but it doesn't stop him long enough to complain more than that. It's unpleasant, but it does make me feel more alert. I run to the bathroom and start cleaning out our toiletries from the counter, including all these things that we saw earlier. My tooth powder, soap, Émile's comb, and Brilliantine pomade, an oral hygiene project used prior to the popularization of toothpaste. Tooth powders were made from chalk, baking soda, orris root, camphor for its antiseptic properties, and essential oils or herbs for flavor. I curse Émile under my breath for leaving every jar open and every bottle unscrewed. As I finish packing everything, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I double back with a short gasp. A purpley blue mars the side of my neck. Émile! I curse him again as I fish a ribbon from my bag, anything to cover the evidence of what we were doing last night. All right, so when we get to the wall cotter, we'll go up to his room. The nurse will probably be with him. The nurse! It should have been obvious. She has every reason to stay with Denham at all times, to watch him constantly. If anyone is reporting on him, it's probably her. And she witnessed last night's debacle. I poke my head out of the bathroom to see Émile frozen and wide-eyed. You don't think she had time to report what she saw? Fuck. He balls up the rest of his clothes and throws them in his valise before slamming it shut. We should have realized this last night. We resume our furious packing. Once we set the room, we head to the door, bags in hand. He reaches for the doorknob, but pauses. Please tell me you remember what room Denham is in. 33. No, 32. My eyebrows knit, and I begin to chew on my thumb. It's 31, girl. Émile claps his hands over his eyes and drags them down his face in exasperation. After a beat or two, he exhales through his fingers and nods resolutely. You'll remember on the way. Let's go. And with that, we leave the room and check out of the Hotel Loen. The cool morning air hitting me as we exit the building is bracing, but no substitute for caffeine. Is the sun always this bright in the morning? Émile is just as miserable as I am, but neither of us complain. There would be no point. Even with our luggage in tow, we all but run through the streets of Lorac. I keep catching flashes of gray in my periphery. Soldiers. Émile? What? He doesn't slow even as I tug on his sleeve. The soldiers. What about them? There's practically one on every corner. And? We nearly collide as he wheels on me. What is your point? Why are there so many? That is my point. There are more than yesterday. It might not have anything to do with us. Maybe, maybe not. It's possible, but I doubt it. I'd be willing to bet Émile doesn't believe that either. Whether they're looking for us or not changes nothing. We still need to get Mr. Denham. Standing here wondering is a waste of time. Feeling that the matter is settled, he turns and presses onward. I can't shake this feeling that something is off. I try to conjure Margot's voice in my mind. What would she tell me to do? I think she advised me to listen to my instincts. Your gut is your best compass, she'd say, and my gut says to run. Get out while we still can. But Émile doesn't seem ready to entertain that suggestion. I quicken my pace to catch up with him. A cool wind blows, pushing some gray clouds overhead. I'm grateful as they block the sun. We zip along the side streets, taking more twists and turns than I can keep track of. Émile seems to know where he's going, so I don't bother with any questions. Our winding path begins to lead us nearer to the main road, and I can sense with a relief that we're finally getting close to the walled cotter. We are about to set off the Collystone alley and into the paved street when suddenly I'm forced backwards. I hold onto the back of Émile's jacket for support. What is it? What's wrong? Émile squeezes his eyes shut in frustration and falls against the wall behind us. Fuck. I cautiously peer around the corner to see what has Émile so distressed. There are 2 soldiers just down this road. They've stopped someone. A woman with red hair. My eyes widen with fear as I watch the soldiers yank a bag from her arms and start searching through it. I duck back into the alley. They're looking for us. For me. Of course. If that nurse with Denham reported what she saw last night, she would have been able to provide a physical description. And between the 2 of us, the thing that would stand out most would be my red hair. Émile must have realized this too. He looks scared. Shit. They know what we look like now. Our identities have been compromised. If we had time, we could disguise ourselves, but I doubt we could come up with anything effective with what little we have on hand. Going through the checkpoint isn't an option anymore, is it? Émile shakes his head grimly. We should get rid of our passports. They are a risk now. He sets down his valise and pulls out papers from the inside pocket of his jacket, his passport, and he motions for me to turn over mine. République Française, passeport, l'étranger, whatever. Émile pulls his matches out and lights it. Holding the flame to the corner, he angles them in this way and that until he's only holding on to tiny scraps. The charred remains fall to the ground like leaves from a tree. As Émile grinds them into the dirt with his foot, a tense silence passes between us. So we are nobodies. What is the plan now? Run for the border. My mouth goes dry. Oh my gosh, this is so much more extreme than the other path. Getting to Basel means crossing the Rhine River. Any bridge will be guarded. Could we swim? It's several hundred feet across, not to mention freezing. And that would be after making it across town undetected. It will be challenging, even for two able-bodied people like me and Émile, but can Mr. Denham do it? Émile hesitates. Denham is barely walking. We both saw him in that wheelchair last night. I'll carry him if I have to. There's no other option. That isn't strictly true. We could leave without him. It's selfish, but we'd have much better odds of escaping on our own. Margot will be disappointed that I couldn't help her friend, of course, but I think she'd want me to prioritize my safety. I'm no use to the Allies sitting in a German prison. We'd be sending him to his death. Even if the Germans don't arrest him now, his illness will take him soon. It's unlikely that the Bureau would have the resources to send someone else to his aid. The information he's gathered would never make it back. All his efforts would be for naught. If there's even a chance we can save him, shouldn't we try? Wow, Emile's like way more, like his personality doesn't give me that he would be like, oh, we should like totally like continue and not save ourselves, because it gives like we should save ourselves, but he has a point. I don't know. I guess we should. My stomach twists. Part of me feels shameful for even suggesting it, but leaving Denham behind is the logical choice. Surely Émile recognizes this. He strikes me as someone self-preserving. So why is he so unwilling to sacrifice the mission when he knows it's doomed? Is this what Margot meant when she said that Émile was motivated? My thoughts are interrupted by the feeling of Emile's hand taking mine. His touch is gentle. We can still do this, Lillian. I want to protest, to make a case for saving ourselves, but I can tell from the look in his eyes that he won't be convinced. He's made up his mind. If I decide to abandon the mission, I'll be leaving alone. Trust me? I didn't trust him yesterday, and it nearly derailed everything. The fact that he would ask me to trust him again when the stakes are so high is practically a miracle. We've been through so much together in 2 days. If I can't put my faith in him now, this is the end. All right, let's go. If he believes we can do this, I will have to believe it too. We keep hush as we traverse the next few blocks, doing our best to focus on the task at hand. As we get closer to the destination, Émile starts taking us on a less direct route, weaving our way through the streets, again, the back streets rather, hopefully missing anyone who might be lying in wait for us. This road should put us behind the hotel. At least if we go in through the back, we'll avoid anyone waiting for us in the hot lobby. All right, here goes nothing. We're so close now. The walled cotter is only 2 blocks away. A sound of scuffling footsteps fall behind us makes me seize up. A pair of kids are barreling down the path towards us, squealing and laughing. One runs by us on our left. The other tries to squeeze in between us. He's maybe 9 or 10 years old, dirt smudged on his face. Realizing he pushed a pair of adults, he turns back to us and calls over his shoulder with an apologetic grin. Excuse me. He runs after his companion, tripping over his own 2 feet. I place my hand on my chest, feeling it rise and fall, willing my pulse to slow after the momentary surprise. What's wrong? They startled me. It's a good sign. Kids like that stay away from police, certainly soldiers. True. It's safe enough for them, it's probably safe for us. Perhaps the hotel isn't as guarded as we thought it would be. We assumed the worst when we saw the soldiers before. Maybe that wasn't warranted. Was I being paranoid? Just as I start to relax, there is a commotion ahead. The same 2 kids from before skid back into the alley. They dart past us, making no apologies this time. Then we see what they're running from. A pair of German soldiers. They spot us immediately. You 2, stop! In my panic, I drop my suitcase. I scramble to retrieve it, but Émile pulls my arm, urging me to just leave it. Lillian, run! Oh my god. This is hectic. This is dramatic. We take off, moving our feet as fast as we can. Even at my top speed, the soldiers are just that much faster. One manages to grab my arm, wrenching it back. Ah! Émile! As he turns back to help me, the other soldier sets upon him. I throw myself as hard as I can against my captor, attempting to knock him off balance. He stumbles, but doesn't release his grip. In moments, his arms are wrapped around me, and I am fully restrained. I continue to struggle, kicking my legs to little effect. Émile's assailant tackles him. The two roll on the ground, striking one another in turn. Émile lands a punch on the shoulder's jaw, dazing him long enough for Émile to rise to his feet. He starts towards me, but out of the corner of my eye, I see the soldier on the ground reaching towards his hip. Gun! The soldier pulls out a pistol. Émile locks eyes with me. If he stays even a moment longer, that soldier will shoot him. He can't save me. We both know it. Damn. He takes off. Which he had to. The soldier fires a shot. Shards of brick fly from the wall next to Émile. He keeps running, disappearing into an alley at the first chance. He's gone. You okay? That bastard. Got me good. He picks himself up from the ground, wiping blood from his lip. Do you have her? I struggle with all of my might. I may be caught, but I don't intend to make this easy for them. Yeah. The other soldier looks doubtful, but his attention is suddenly wrenched away. Captain! Ooh, I'm scared again. A tall blonde man makes his way down the alleyway towards us. I'm scared. He's not in uniform, just an overcoat, but walks with an air of authority. His demeanor is placid, despite coming onto such a frantic scene. Quite the ruckus back here. As he nears, he looks down at me. But you caught a little rabbit. Well done. I intend to meet his gaze with defiance, but as his eyes lock with mine, I'm quelled in spite of myself. His eyes are the color of molten bronze, shrewd and sharp. One could imagine such bronze being forged into a weapon. A precise and deadly spear, perhaps. His attention turns back to the soldiers. There were supposed to be 2 of them, though. Where's her partner? He got away, sir. Got away? He ran, sir. A look of irritation crosses the captain's face. Then why are you standing here? Go after him. The soldier sets off at a run, knowing that he now has his mistake to make up for. The captain starts speaking directly to me. What to do with you, then? He drums his fingers against his chin as he looks me over. I can almost hear the machine behind his eyes whirring, adding up the circumstances to calculate my fate. Do you speak German? I pretend that I don't, and merely blink back at him. If he believes we don't understand each other, he won't question me. Or at least, I might buy a little time until they can find a translator. If I'm lucky, they may even let their guard down and speak freely in front of me. I could hear something valuable. That's a shame. If we cannot question her, she is of no use to us. Oh. He reaches inside his coat and removes a shiny silver pistol. Damn, sir. We might as well dispose of her here. My eyes widen in sudden fear. Wait, no. I don't want to die. Before I can stop myself, the words escape my lips. I speak German. Ich spreche Deutsch? I don't. Lillian does, you know. I thought as much. And he apparently speaks English. That was all just to scare me into speaking. I could almost see your ears prick up like a dog when I first spoke to you. You should work on that. Now, going forward, I recommend you answer my questions quickly and truthfully. Understand? He doesn't wait for me to reply. Instead, he goes to retrieve the suitcase I dropped, and Émile's bag, which he was forced to leave behind. We at least rid ourselves of the fake passports, but who knows what other damning evidence is in there. Shit. Well then. Corporal, search the area for her partner. I doubt your comrade was able to catch up to him quickly enough. Fraulein, you come with me. The soldier's grip on me releases. The captain holds the suitcases out to me. Before you think of running or trying anything else, know that I will not hesitate to shoot you. He leans in to whisper to me. and I am a much better shot than my colleagues here. I take the luggage hesitantly. Before I can even consider swinging it to knock the captain off balance, he presses the barrel of his gun to my side. Shall we? Oh my gosh. Where are we going? Okay, we're going to the main street. To passers-by, we only look like a couple walking together. The bags I'm carrying conveniently hide his pistol from onlookers. I will myself to be calm as I address my captor. Where are we going? To my hotel. His hotel. Shouldn't we be going to a police station, a jail, or even some sort of military headquarters? Though we could be trying to keep this incident off the books, places with any sort of triage or intake will generate a record of me being there. But why keep me a secret? Every reason I can think of makes my blood curdle. I try not to shudder as I pose my next question. What is going to happen there? Just a conversation. A conversation about what? My, you are full of questions, aren't you? I have to ask questions. Any information as to what awaits me will be vital. I mean, what else can I do? He has me at gunpoint. My only option is to talk my way out. I'm American, you know. I have rights. Yes, in America, I'm sure you do. Here, however, we shall have to inquire whether or not your governments will be willing to take a responsibility for your espionage. My stomach lurches, but I feign surprise. Espionage? I hear the captain sigh behind me. Playing stupid games like this will only succeed in irritating me, Fraulein. You are not in a position to be irritating. His gun digs further into my side, making me wince in pain. I can't think of a worse possible outcome to this mission than what is happening right now. I feel my throat begin to strain as I suppress the urge to cry. I can't cry right now. I won't. This man would probably not respond well to my tears. It would only make me appear weak. The rest of the walk is spent in cold silence. I tread forward not like the young, confident woman I am, but like an automaton headed for the scrap pile. A prisoner marching to a drumbeat that will take them to the gallows. Quicker than anticipated, we come upon a limestone edifice. There are 2 soldiers out front, evidently on break. The captain whistles at them. Oh my gosh, it's our friends. As I scramble to attention, I'm shocked to see familiar faces. It's the boys from the pub last night. Eugene looks ill, likely suffering from last night's revelries. As his eyes meet mine, he turns from slightly green to sheet white. He's about to say something, but Walter elbows him hard. Eugene's reaction does not go unnoticed. What's wrong with you? Nothing, sir. Not you. Him. Nothing. Sir? Whatever. Come with me. The captain tugs me along, and the 2 young men follow us inside. A porter dutifully holds the door for us, but as I attempt to make eye contact with him, he determinedly looks away. A maid we pass casts her eyes down to the floor. No one acknowledges my silent pleas. I might as well be a ghost. The captain escorts me to an elevator where an operator slides a metal grate open, allowing us to board. He too wills himself to look through us. Ooh, elevator. 5th floor, please. The metal grate clanks shut like the door of a cage, and the elevator shudders upward. The motion makes my stomach drop. I nervously glance towards Eugene, whose eyes flit from me to the floor and back again. He's nearly as distressed as me. I pray that the captain doesn't pick up on this. Eugene and Walter may be my only hope for escape, assuming they don't follow orders blindly. My thoughts come to a crashing stop as the elevator rattles into place on the 5th floor. This is it. I'm marshaled down the hall and released into a posh but otherwise ordinary room. I like the roses there. The yellow ones. They're quite nice. It's a relief as the captain lowers his gun and tucks it into his holster, but that feeling is short-lived. Walter takes my bags from me without a word. Check her for weapons. Search her things. Walter and Eugene's eyes ping-pong between one another and me, unease knitting their brows together. When their shared hesitancy becomes apparent, the captain rolls his eyes. Oh, for the love of... He brushes past the boys towards me, removing his gloves.
Take off your coat and turn around.
I'm not armed. When I try to object, he takes my shoulders and spins me around to face the wall. He pulls the sleeves of my coat down in a smooth motion, then tosses the coat at Walter.
Hands in front of you, please. On the wall.
I reluctantly comply. The next thing I know, he's crouched on the ground next to me, unlacing my shoe. What are you?
Quiet.
He runs his fingers between my ankle and the leather of my boot. His hands clamp around my legs, feeling through my skirt to check for hidden items. Not that he'll find me. Margot was hesitant to start arming me, and I'm thanking my lucky stars in this moment that she ultimately decided not to. As he reaches for my thighs, I tense. Will he feel the metal of my garter clips and mistake it for something it's not? His hands run over the edge of my stocking, but he doesn't seem perturbed. I look over my shoulder at Walter and Eugene. They watch, faces red and mouths agape, but neither is about to intervene. The captain rises from the floor and places his hands on my hips. His hands are firmer as they run up my sides, trying for any errant lumps in my corset. I squeeze my eyes shut and hold my breath as he goes. Anything to pretend that his hands aren't where they are. I'm slightly relieved when I feel his touch stop at my ribs.
Oh, sorry about you. Felt like I needed to sneeze.
Okay, after quickly checking my sleeves, he takes a step back. I allow myself to exhale and then turn to see him putting his gloves back on. It's so matter of fact. He conducts himself like a doctor examining a patient. He then turns to the soldiers with an arch in his brow.
I hope you boys aren't too modest to do a thorough inspection of the luggage.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
The captain sighs. I'll be back to question her shortly.
I wrap my arms around myself as the door to the room clicks shut. He didn't hurt me. He didn't do anything other than check for weapons, just like he said. But all the same, I've never been touched like that, especially in front of others. I pace a little, taking long, shuddering breaths as I try to hold back the sob that's been sitting in my chest this entire time. Oh, sorry, Lillian. Don't cry, Lillian. Don't lose control. Even as I order myself to stay calm, my vision blurs and hot tears make tracks down my face. I turn from Walter and Eugene, embarrassed and humiliated. They are watching. I can feel their eyes on me, sense their uneasiness. They are awkward witnesses to my breakdown. Just as I'm about to wipe my tears away, my mind suddenly restarts. Why am I not using this? The captain is a cold man and won't easily be manipulated, but he's gone. I have a short window in which I might be able to win Walter and Eugene to my side. They're young and inexperienced boys besides themselves that they watch a woman cry. This may be my only opportunity. I stop hiding my face from them and let my tears fall freely. This is a terrible mistake. Oh, Lillian. That man, he just pulled me off the street. He wouldn't tell me why. And now I'm being treated like a criminal? What am I meant to have done? They think... He trails off. What?
Eugene, don't.
They think you are a spy. They briefed us this morning, Mrs. Lillian, about two of them who are meant to be in town. And they were supposed to look just like you and Mr. Edward. Spies? Here? That is what I thought. Such a little, insignificant town couldn't possibly...
Eugene, shut it.
But Walter, what if there has been some mistake? We have to help Mrs. Lillian.
We have to follow orders. I don't know the captain, but he doesn't look like a man who makes mistakes.
I'm innocent, Walter. You have to believe me.
That's not up to us. We shouldn't even be talking to you. Come on, Eugene, let's search your things.
Walter reluctantly sets the suitcases on the bed. Starting with mine, he undoes the latch and starts sifting through the contents. What if we just tell the captain that we know her?
Are you crazy? We'll just explain that she's here.
We'll just explain that she's here on her honeymoon and that we know her.
Oh, Eugene. So sweet.
We'll tell him that she's good.
You want to tell the captain that we were consorting with spies last night. Who knows what they'll do if they find that out.
But Mrs. Lillian isn't a spy.
How do you know?
She She doesn't look like one?
Mon God, Eugene. What do you think spies are supposed to look like? They look like ordinary people. That is the point. Just shut up and help me search through all of this, will you?
What are we even looking for?
I don't know. Suspicious things.
Eugene starts to lend a hand, but as soon as he picks up a pink silk chemise, he becomes embarrassed and sets it down. A woman's undergarment, typically linen, cotton, silk, worn directly against the skin underneath a corset. We love it. I don't think there's anything in here but ladies' clothing. But if we look through all these things and find nothing... Walter ignores Eugene as he digs a hand into the inner pockets of my suitcase. He freezes. I watch him slowly pull out my passport and papers, turning them over in his hands for inspection.
This doesn't look like nothing.
He narrows his eyes at me and then hands the papers to Eugene, who accepts them with dainty fingers as if handling something extremely delicate. Those are just my travel and identification papers, Walter. They aren't as important as you think they are. Please, I'm quite scared. This is all a huge misunderstanding. Please believe me. Walter, I think she's telling the truth. This whole situation, it's not right, I tell you. I mean, don't you think it's strange to have brought her here? To the captain's private hotel room? Why has he ordered this?
Why do you think? You're a man now, Eugene, for Christ's sake.
Eugene looks troubled, but he still hasn't fully grasped the implication. Walter grimaces meaningfully, and it finally dawns Eugene. That's awful. I don't like this.
She is our enemy. Stop being a baby and be a soldier, damn it.
My chest tightens at Walter's words. Only last night the two of us were making merry, doing the foxtrot, and impersonating Charlie Chaplin. Now he's willing to leave me in the hands of a dangerous man without any regard for my safety. I'm his enemy now. That makes me deserving of such a fate. I turn back to Eugene, who is fidgeting and staring at the floor. Eugene, you know me. We spent all of last night talking, celebrating your birthday together. You told me about your family's farm, remember? For a moment, I see Eugene's expression soften, but Walter snaps at him to get his attention back. He points to my passport in Eugene's hands. Eugene's eyes widen as he opens the documents and reads, "Your name. It's different on your passport, and it says you aren't married."
You see, she's a liar.
I spit out a panicked expression, but under pressure, my German falters. Sinclair is my maiden name, Eugene. Edward and I have only been a few weeks marriage. Our papers we haven't updated yet. Eugene is unsure. Broken as my phrasing was, it's plausible, but his confidence in me is shaken to a point from which it might not recover. Walter does not wait for Eugene to make up his mind. He opens up Émile's valise, quickly finding glue, ink, pens, and other implements of forgery.
What is all of this?
I try to spin another lie, but I feel as though I'm losing the battle. Art supplies. Didn't Edward mention it last night? He's an illustrator. Walter eyes the supplies skeptically.
Where is Edward anyway?
Hopefully trying to contact the U.S. Embassy to get me out of this mess.
Oh, I very much doubt that.
Oh my god. I nearly jump out of my skin. All three of us spin around to see the captain returned. He had entered so quietly that we hadn't noticed.
Her partner ran when they were confronted. Hardly innocent behavior, if you ask me.
Walter eyes Eugene, lifting his brows as if to say, "See?"
You two may go, stand guard by the door outside.
They exchange another meaningful look before shuffling out of the room, leaving me to the captain, taking whatever hope I had with them. I remain where I am, as if my stillness might hide me from his sights. The captain removes his coat and hangs up his hat before quietly strolling over to the bed and examining the belongings that Walter and Eugene left out. He combs through the bag's contents with his eyes, his arms crossed in front of his chest.
Art supplies.
He smiles and shakes his head as if this were an amusing joke.
I'm certain he wasn't in the room when I said that. Was he eavesdropping on our conversation? And for how long? You were quick with your explanations. It sounds like a compliment, but I'm positive it isn't. When I don't reply, he looks back to me and clocks a trepidation on my face. What is the matter? As he takes a step towards me, I instinctively step back. He halts at my reaction. You are frightened. I am. Is it because of what that private said? It was not an unreasonable implication. Fräulein, I promise that no harm will come to you while you are here. I was being quite literal when I told you I wanted to have a conversation. And to avoid paperwork, if I'm being entirely honest. The fact that this is a hotel room is incidental. I don't have any reason to trust this man, but there wouldn't be any point in him lying about this. I decide to take him at his word, for now. I suspect this conversation won't be short, so I head over to the armchair in the corner of the room and make myself comfortable. Shall I order some tea, then? My brow lifts slightly. I'm supposed to be his prisoner, not his guest. What kind of interrogation involves tea? This might be a ploy to get my guard down. I won't relax completely, but I should still appear to be agreeable.
Okay, I do definitely think that he was, like, eavesdropping. Because, like, he was probably like, let me see if, like, this person will give us something of note while I'm not in the room.
He wants tea, so let's have some tea. If you like.
Excuse me.
Sehr gut. He goes to the telephone sitting on the desk and places an order for room service. Even as he carries on the call, he seems to be keeping an eye on me, taking the measure of me fully for the first time. I realize I'm doing the same, my training kicking in without my notice. Even though he's standing at ease now, hands full with the transmitter and receiver, the captain hasn't lost any command over the room. I can't help but wonder if someone like him ever loses confidence. Probably not. His clothes are well tailored and look new, suggesting he is well off. Yes, like a man like him probably has little trouble moving through the world. I see his left hand bears no ring. He might be hiding it for work, but it's more reasonable to assume he's unmarried. If I were to try seducing him into letting me go, that might be an advantage. But how likely would he be to fall for that? My heart sinks. He's too shrewd, too experienced. No, he'd see me from coming from a mile away.
Ja, gut. Gut? Ja. Danke schön. So sorry.
He hangs up the phone with a click. He holds my gaze for a moment longer before speaking again.
Are you comfortable?
Not that I don't have a gun sticking to my side. Quite. He narrows his eyes ever so slightly before he directs his attention back to my belongings on the bed. He plucks a passport left on the top of a pile of clothes and starts thumbing through it.
Lillian Talera Sinclair. Is that your real name?
That's what my passport says.
Cheeky. Born June 15th, 1896 in San Francisco, California. You are a long way from home, aren't you, Fräulein Sinclair?
I am.
What are you doing here? I love that transition into him sitting in this chair. Oof, he looks so scary.
I can't know for sure how much he overheard my conversation with Walter and Eugene. Perhaps it's best to stick to a story that matches what he sees before him now. My well-made clothes laid out on the bed and the passport he's reading now add up to something. My gut tells me I have a better chance talking my way out as Lillian Sinclair than as Mrs. Lillian Twain. Oh, you know, just on a grand European tour. A traditional trip undertaken as an educational rite of passage for members of the upper class.
In the middle of a war. Seems like poor timing.
I started before the fighting broke out, as I'm sure you can see from my papers.
I see. And Le Roc was just the next stop in your tour. Why not Basel? Switzerland is a safer place to be right now.
And pass up the chance to visit Germany. I'm touring Europe. That would be like skipping a chapter in a novel. I have every intention of making my way to Munich and then crossing into Austria after that.
The war doesn't scare you.
I'm cautious. I mapped out the routes that avoid getting too close to the front. But I'm not scared.
Life is short and I want to see the world.
How intrepid. So your travels are all planned out?
Of course.
And you enjoy being so meticulous.
What is he getting at? He seems to catch my confusion, so he clarifies.
I only mean you aren't the type of person to do things on impulse.
I suppose so.
Then you never do something like get married on a whim?
What? He gestures down to my left hand. My eyes fall on the ring. Shoot. I completely forgotten I was wearing it. Oh, this? It's just a ring. I'm also wearing earrings if you're taking an inventory.
I see that. And they are considerably nicer than that cheap piece of tin on your finger.
What does that matter?
I'm positive that those earrings belong to you, Miss Sinclair. But that ring belongs to the person you have been pretending to be.
Ooh, he's good. Pretending?
Mrs. Lillian Twain.
Do I give an outright denial? That might be my best play. Any reason I can think for assuming another identity will only incriminate me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that not how you introduced yourself last night at the Wad Cotter Hotel? That is what my informant reported, anyway. Back to this passport of yours, however. The last stamps here indicate that you were in France, but came to Switzerland yesterday. No stamps for Germany, though. That is illegal, I'm afraid.
A clerical error, I'm sure. The guard might have forgotten to stamp it.
Possibly, in which case he should be sacked. But it's more likely you used another document when passing through the checkpoint. A forged document. Perhaps that is why the photograph of your passport has come loose. You might have adhered it to a fake one to lend it an air of legitimacy. Easily done with those art supplies your partner was carrying. I think that must have been how you passed through undetected. The only other way you would have been able to cross somewhere other than the checkpoint at the train station. And the clothing you packed is much too nice for that kind of trek.
That sounds like a lot of speculation. I'm just an American tourist in Germany. Promise you, that's all.
I wish I could believe your circumstances are so simple. Then I could go home and you could continue on to Munich, did you say? But the fact of the matter is you are working for France, and that is not so simple, I'm afraid.
You're wrong. You're jumping to conclusions.
Not so. You came from Paris to meet a man who has a long history of working with the French. An ill-timed rescue, in my opinion. We've been monitoring Denham's activities for some time now. Many eyes were on you here in Laroque.
So, Margot was right when she suspected that Herbert Denham's time was running out. But this is the first time his name has been brought up. Though it pains me, this is an opportunity to distance myself from him.
Denham?
Who's that?
There's no point in denying that you know him. You were seen talking to him at the Wad Cotter last night. Our informant would have no trouble picking you out of a lineup.
I pretend that I'm putting two and two together. The Wal Cotter? Oh, you mean that man in the wheelchair?
You're continuing with this charade. If you really don't know him, then I suppose it wouldn't matter to you that we arrested him this morning.
My heart falters. Herbert Denham is doomed. Not surprising, though I only just met him last night. He seemed nice. Did he do something? He was another American, so I was just being friendly. You aren't trying to condemn me for that, are you? We spoke for all of 5 minutes.
A lot can happen in 5 minutes.
A knock at the door interrupts us.
That must be our tea.
He goes to the door and returns after a moment with tea service that he places on the side table next to me. Settling back into his chair, he leans forward and folds his hands. A silence settles back across the room as he studies me.
I sincerely doubt you are as innocent as you claim to be, but if you are then there isn't any point in continuing this exchange.
I'm not sure I follow. If I'm innocent, you should let me go.
Not so, Fräulein. If you are innocent, then a court of law will come to that conclusion. No need for me to be involved. Although, the missing stamp, the forgery tools, the witnesses who saw you speaking to a man known to be working with the French, the fact that you lied about your identity to those two privates. Every addition to the list feels like some other crushing weight falling on my shoulders. It's circumstantial evidence, but it all points at you being a spy. No, I don't like your chances, but I wish you the best of luck. He stands and starts heading for the door. Is he leaving? Enjoy the tea. As I watch him take up his coat, it dawns on me that I may have played this situation entirely wrong. No court would rule me innocent. I'd be hanged as a spy in short order. But the captain has known about the evidence from the very beginning. He said we were coming here for a conversation. This wasn't meant to be an interrogation. It was meant to be a trade. I scramble to my feet and run towards the door. I like your outfit, girl. The captain reaches for his gun in his holster, preparing to stop me by any means until he realizes that I'm not reaching for the doorknob. I'm throwing myself in front of it. He slowly lowers the gun. What are you doing? I'm stopping you from leaving. My chest heaves as I stare at him, wide-eyed and panicked. Am I to take it that you are ready to talk now? Yes, but first, I need to know who I'm talking to, and what your terms are. My terms? Yes. If I talk, will you let me go? Ugh, I see. That will depend on what you have to say. That's not enough. He puts his gun back in its holster and then smirks. Then let's discuss it. He gestures over to the armchairs where we were previously seated. Shocked that my desperate ploy actually worked, I quietly remove myself from the door and slink back over to my chair. How do you take your tea? With a bit of milk. He sets to work on pouring the tea for both of us, adding sugar cube after sugar cube to his cup. He has a sweet tooth. It's an odd fact, but it makes him seem more human. I am Captain Anton Schuttman, and the more you tell me, the more I can do for you. He hands me my cup. That's vague. Then let me put it this way. You aren't technically under arrest yet. You haven't been charged. So you're saying that if I cooperate, you won't charge me. If the information you provide proves valuable, then perhaps we won't charge you. And you have the authority to make that decision. I report directly to the head of Abteilung the 3rd B. So yes. What a name. I don't know what that... There's a B there. German counterintelligence. Then he can probably deliver on his promise, assuming he actually intends to keep it. There is no guarantee. But taking this deal may be the only way to save myself. All right, Captain Schuttman. What do you want to know? Wunderbar. I am right that you worked for the Dizium Bureau, yes? Once I admit this, there will be no turning back. I nod. A satisfied smile crosses his face. We would have saved so much time if you had been this direct from the outset. Haven't you ever been to a play? The third act's not as satisfying without the first two. Making jokes. You must be relieved to not have to lie so much anymore. He's not wrong. Once I made up my mind to talk, all the pressure evaporated. I've been feeling less scared and more like myself. Lying is difficult. Half-truths are easier. Whole truths are even better. Really? Maybe I'll give them a try. No time like the present. Now then. The way he adjusts his posture tells me he's ready to be serious once more. Tell me about your partner. Émile. If I had just trusted my gut instead of listening to him, I wouldn't be in this mess now. What about him? What is his name? You already know that from your informant, don't you? Edward Twain, but that is an alias, isn't it? As angry as I am with him, I'm not petty. If the Germans don't know Émile's name, then I'm not going to give it to them. He could still get out using his actual passport. I can't expose him. It's the only name I know him by. Then you don't know his real name. I only met him 2 days ago for the first time. How much do you really expect me to know about him? Under the right circumstances, you can get acquainted with someone very quickly.
I know nothing about him except that he smokes too much, he's rude, and he doesn't trust me. Even if the circumstances were right, I don't think we'd be chums. But the two of you were rather drunk by the time you got to the Wald's Cotter. Friends are often found at the bottom of a bottle, no matter their differences. Yes, we were very friendly while convincing those privates guarding the door that we were just an American couple on a honeymoon. We ate sausages and danced the foxtrot and did everything we could to maintain our cover. Captain Shipman throws a disappointed look towards the door and sighs before making up his mind to move on. So, there's no meeting point you arranged with Edward Twain? No safe house to go to? Not to my knowledge. You have no idea where he might have gone? None. Switzerland was where the mission was to end, but obviously he's out of your jurisdiction if he's there.
Ooh. Got too into it. I'm really into this, by the way. I'm just like reading because I'm like, damn, what a story. Is Lillian gonna get out of this? What's happening with Émile, you know?
Very well. What about Herbert Denham? I know even less about him. When I said I only spoke with him for 5 minutes, that was true. Do you at least know what information he was collecting? Troop movements, I believe. More specifically, he was generally monitoring activity along the southern border in the event that an attack might take place down here. And are you aware of his findings? No. He frowns. Should I have known more? Who would know the answer to his question? I'm not even sure Denham's been reporting back to the DB with so many eyes on him here. It's possible no one knows what he's been observing other than himself. When I don't offer anything else, Shipman tuts to himself and sighs. I suppose Sir Denham will tell us soon enough. Where does he keep the information he's been gathering? His rooms have been searched dozens of times and his notes have not been discovered yet. I don't know. I feel a growing sense of alarm that the number of questions Shipman is asking that I can't answer. His dissatisfaction is easy enough to read. He stares me down from behind steepled fingers like he's trying to decipher a difficult formula in front of him. Denham, did he pass anything along to you last night? Only his room number. We were on our way to meet him when your men stopped us. I thought I was being clever before about half-truths, but I don't even know how enough to lie. The captain stands from his chair and starts agitatedly pacing. Do you perhaps know the identity of other agents? Or details of other current operations?
Miss Girl, this is her first mission. She knows nothing. Like, absolutely. Like, it's fine.
These are last-ditch questions, fishing for any answer. When all I do is stare blankly at him, he runs his fingers through his hair in frustration. He sighs.
Do they not brief you on anything?
No, I think I'm left in the dark intentionally.
Why?
Because I'm so new to this.
Also, for situations like this.
He stops pacing and fixes me with a look.
How new?
This was my first field assignment.
Shook.
I see a face of something new in his eyes. Pity.
I'm surprised they would send a novice on a mission like this.
Is that why you had a partner? I click my tongue. Hardly. He had even less training than I did.
Then you were partnered for your skill sets. You speak German and he
was there to forge documents, yes. The captain seems genuinely perplexed as he makes his way back to the chair.
He's like, I would never have done this if it was up to me. That's what he's giving. He's just like, if I was in charge of, doing a mission like this to retrieve, someone from enemy territory, I would not have put these two together and sent these two on a mission at all.
I've been training for a year. I thought I was prepared for anything.
What kind of training?
Whether it's instinct or intuition, a small voice in the back of my head tells me that I shouldn't reveal too much. The captain seems to have already run through every question he planned to ask me. Now he's just listening. He's not playing the cold professional with a heart of stone anymore, deaf to my pleas of innocence. No, I can tell he actually feels bad for me. I can't do anything about the lack of information I have, but I can try to influence his perception of me. Pity will only get me so far, but it's a place to start. Information gathering, nothing like this.
That isn't the right training for this mission. Either the Bureau sent you out as a pawn they didn't mind sacrificing, or you were being grossly mishandled.
I don't know how I'm viewed by the larger organization of the DB. Perhaps I am a pawn to them. But Margot sent me because she had a personal stake in rescuing Herbert Denham, because she trusted me, and because she had run out of other options. But Margot knew this. This is outside of my expertise, but she was desperate. Perhaps the captain would call that mishandling, but I don't see it that way. She gave me the best chance to succeed that she could, but the information she was working from was limited. Still, I should make the captain believe I've been wronged. Maybe you're right.
That the Bureau would discard their own people that way? It's a little shocking. You think an agent who is intelligent and capable would have more value?
I cock my head at him, genuinely a bit thrown by his compliment. Capable? The reason I'm in this room being questioned by you is because I've made nothing but mistakes since I set out.
As far as I can tell, your missteps weren't made due to incompetence. Inexperience and immaturity, perhaps, but not incompetence.
It's clear that he doesn't mean to flatter me. As much as I bristle, I probably deserve to be called immature after the way I carried on with Émile last night. But I don't think he means it unkindly.
You were capable, or could be.
It sounds like I would have been better off working for someone like you. Now it's his turn to be caught off guard. My voice is tinged with regret. I think he might be susceptible to the Damsel in Distress Act after all. I just need to present a subtler version of it. This is my opening. It's not too late to switch sides, is it? I say this half-jokingly, and he responds with a rueful smile.
That could be dangerous. If you betray your friend so easily, would the German government ever trust you not to do the same when it suits you?
You're right. I'm not loyal to any government. But I am loyal to people. If I was working for you... I watch him carefully as I start down this line of thought. He seems to be weighing my words. I know it's strange to say after how all this started, but I think I'd get along with you. He watches me thoughtfully.
I don't think I could be your handler.
Why not? He sits forward and wrings his hand, an explanation in his mind that is clear he does not want to share. He does, however, glance up at me, bronze eyes full of its discomfort. A notion begins to form in my own mind. Whether it's presumption or simply foolishness, I don't know. But something tells me the thing the captain is withholding is... he is attracted to me.
Okay, Lillian, pull them all in. I love that for you.
I thought before that he was cold and unflappable, that there was nothing I could exploit. But now I think he might not be so cold at all. He might just be good at putting up a front. Seems so.
I'm not a handler, for one.
And for two? He remains silent. I sit back in my chair and cross my legs. Well, I find that surprising. You seem very clear in your opinion that I've been mishandled.
That doesn't mean that I'm better suited for the job.
He goes quiet again after that. If I can't make him walk into a confession, I need some kind of alternative confirmation that my suspicions aren't irrational. Perhaps I need to prompt him in a more physical way. Would you like some more tea? Shipman stares slightly and then quirks his head, caught off by my question. He glances down his empty teacup and then back to me. Here, let me pour you another cup. I rise and walk over to the tea service, taking the opportunity to position myself as close to him as possible.
Go, Lillian, go.
While I lean over him to pour, the ribbon around my neck dangles in front of his chest. The movement draws his eyes for a brief moment. I know that look on a man's face, but I also know better than to celebrate just yet. After a beat, he seems to catch himself and makes a point of leaning and looking away from me. 4 sugars, was it?
Yeah.
He takes several stirs for the sugar to start dissolving. I let our fingers brush when I hand him the cup.
Danke.
Bitte. Bitte. Beat? 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 Bitte. I don't know German, so sorry.
I smile sweetly before making my way back to my chair.
Where was it that the Deuxième Bureau found you?
There's a hint of caution in his voice. He's probably sensed that something is off, but can't quite put his finger on it. I should be very careful in what I say. Any hint that I'm trained in seduction will make him put up his guard. I was recruited right out of school. They were looking for young people, and I happened to have language skills.
German and French, I assume. Very useful nowadays.
What about you?
Me?
Yes. How did you fall into this line of work?
I was recruited through connections made at school.
I see. Who knew European schools were such a funnel for espionage?
It's not on any brochure I've seen. Though the latest one out of the propaganda office would have you believe otherwise. About Allied schools, of course. German schools are impeccable, above reproach.
Of course. So you do have a sense of humor.
I do. Does that surprise you?
Americans are quick to humor, for better or for worse. Germans are less so.
This is probably true. I'm allotted 3 jokes a year by the government, and that was one of them.
Oof, only one left now.
I'm serious.
0. A smile, warm and genuine, appears on his face, the first I've seen of its kind. I wasn't wrong when I said we might get along, but just as it starts to make me feel a sense of ease, it fades.
I'll be honest, Fräulein Sinclair. I'm not sure what to do with you.
I suppose that's better than him wanting to throw me to the wolves, but it still doesn't sound good.
You don't actually have the information I was hoping you would.
I was cooperative, though, wasn't I?
You didn't give me anything that might help prove your usefulness.
Then all of that was for nothing. He leans back and delivers a penetrating stare, one that sees every truth, every lie, every strength, and every weakness. It makes me feel naked, despite the fact that I'm fully clothed. I gaze right back, hoping for some sign of where his thoughts are taking him, but the man is inscrutable.
I'll have to give this some thought. I should be on my way.
He gets up and starts to head for the door again. My stomach leaps in alarm. The more distance he has from me, the easier it will be for him to write me off as a casualty of unfortunate circumstances. I'll have much better odds of making a decision in my favor if he does before he leaves. In a desperate move, I swipe the tea service from the side table and send it crashing to the floor. He spins around at the commotion. Under the pretense that I did this by accident, I drop to the floor and start dabbing at the tea-soaked carpet with a napkin. Sorry, I don't know how I managed that. Captain Shutman, much as I hope, strides back across the room to help me with the cleanup. He starts picking up the broken teacups and piling the pieces onto the tray. The warm smell of tea permeates the area, not unpleasantly. As his arm stretches to retrieve a wayward spoon, I decide to reach for the same one, letting our fingers brush as they reach their target. He freezes, but doesn't pull away. I glance back at him to see how he's reacting to all of this, but to my surprise, he's already watching me. His eyes flit between mine and my lips. My other hand floats up towards his face like a ghostly vapor, beckoning him to me.
Okay, Lillian, time to go. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I should stop here because I realized that I've been recording for an hour. So we're going to see what Lillian does in the next part. Definitely enjoying this. Like, I'm really into it. It's so interesting how Anton's in here. I miss Émile though, truthfully. And who knows what's exactly going to happen, but it'll be okay. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please press the like button. And if you'd love to check out more from me and see more of Love and Country particularly, please subscribe to my channel. I am definitely going to finish this game. And this is just on the Émile route, supposedly. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!